Everybody in the whole wide world really just needs to chill.
I had to have stitches in my elbow from, I was not a fighter, but.
How old?
Grade 8.
Oh.
Yeah.
Valedictorian.
12, 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got in a fight. Dumbest reason to get in a fight ever. Shouldn't have been in a fight. This is how, I'll just tell you.
I'm very curious.
Yeah, I know. I'll just tell you the story.
Scuffle.
All right. So, I'm in grade 8. There's a new guy that comes to our school, and he looks like an adult. Like, he's not a kid. He looks like he could be one of the teachers. Yeah. His first day, we all thought he was a new teacher, like a substitute or something. And everybody's like, who the fuck is the new, the new teacher or whatever. But he turned out to be a new student. And, I don't know, everybody's nervous. You're a kid. You don't know what to do. So he wanted people to think he was like really kind of a tough, guy. And he would talk about fighting all the time. And he would talk about on the weekends, he gets almost like fight. What he was really, I guess, describing was like Fight Club, but like the way a kid would describe it and try to tell you that they're in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this kid was in grade 8 too?
He was in grade 8, but he looks like he's 25
years old.
You're
confusing him for a fully grown man. Okay.
Yeah. And he's telling us that he fights. So it was like a little bit of a way to be like, hey, don't, I know I'm new here, but don't fuck with me.
Wouldn't looking like a fully grown man kind of take care of that already, you think, in grade 8?
Yeah, there was a lot of guys that were like, I don't give a fuck what you look like.
Yeah,
I'm just going to rip
looking
you.
to pop off.
Yeah. So, excuse me. So, he comes in, he's letting us all know that he's a fighter or whatever. So for the most part, it's all fine. After a little while and people get used to him, there's some like some things that don't add up about his stories, like he would come in and be like, I watched my best friend get murdered or like beat up or whatever on the weekend. And you're like, it seems to happen every weekend. Yeah. Like we live in London, Ontario. Like, where are these fucking things?
I dodged a couple ninja stars on the weekend.
So as boys do, a couple guys think, you know what? I don't think you're that tough, and I think you're full of shit, and we should fight after school. And so one guy steps up and absolutely whips his ass, like the adult guy. I mean, embarrassingly. Second guy, now he's got a bad reputation. Second guy steps up. He says, I'll fight you. I don't give a shit. And they fight. The guy puts him. You wrestling fan?
I mean, I loosely know.
Bret Hart, sharpshooter.
Okay, I know Bret Hart.
Lock the legs.
Okay.
He did that in a real fight to him, like as an I want to embarrass you type of move, which is like normally a guy would have to go with it, let you lock his legs. He like literally
just dominated.
Yeah, and so his reputation as this kind of tough guy was sort of dying down, right? So there's this other guy that was a troublemaker. We're in a class. We're all three of us in a class. This new guy that fights is going on and on about, even though it was a fluke that he got put in the sharpshooter. Of course. So this other guy, Greg, starts chirping the fighter guy and starts talking about how we could all whip your ass. Like, you're nothing, whatever. And he goes, pick anybody in here and I'll whip their ass. And he goes, I bet even Jeff could whip your ass. He doesn't fight. Now I have said nothing. I'm just sitting there. He goes, I bet even he could whip your ass. And he doesn't, he's not even a fighter. And I'm like, oh, no. There's no need to, we don't need to go that far. No. And I joke around, and me and the guy that is the new guy are friends. So I go, oh no, he'd whatever. And so he's going at Greg and Greg's going so they're chirping each other back and forth. I'm thinking this is leading to a fight. And to be honest, I wouldn't have minded Greg getting knocked out. I would have been cheering for the other guy in this scenario. So Greg goes, no, Jeff would whip your ass or whatever. And the other guy goes, no, there's no way. And I go, we're joking around. Anyway, he gets serious and he's like, I would fucking whip his ass. Now, when you're a boy and your testosterone's getting up, for the most part, I can let it go and whatever. It just got to a point where it was like too much. Like, it was like, breaking point. We don't know exactly what would happen. So let's not, it wouldn't be I don't think it would be a mauling, you know what I mean? And he's like, no, I'd whip your ass. And eventually It just got to the point where your emotions take over and your ego or whatever it is kicks in. And I'm like, look, man, if I have to kick your ass, I'll kick your ass for this to stop. Like it was too much, which I should not have done. And so then this Greg fucking guy, he pipes up and he's like, all right, after school, these guys are going. He kind of organizes this thing that happens out on the catwalk, which is like technically off. Yeah. Technically off of school property. So you could kind of, this is where all the fights took place and the school would have nothing to do with it. So he organizes this thing. I go to the guy I'm supposed to fight and I go, we're not actually doing this, right? Like this was just, us chirping each other or whatever. And he's like, no, we have to. And I'm like, we don't have to do this. And he goes, dude, he's telling everybody like, we're going to look terrible if we don't do this. I'm like, guy, we do not. Anyway, it gets to the point where now there's too many people. It's too high stakes. Your whole school career is riding on it. It's grade 8. You're about to graduate. I don't want to go into high school being the pussy who wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like that's how you think as a
well, especially
kid.
Back then, that was a lot more normal, I think.
It was. And it's like fueled by these, boys that are all testosterone up and like, yeah, we want to see a fight. So we go down to this catwalk and there's a fucking crowd around, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe. And in my mind, I'm like, I have never been in a fight before other than a hockey scuffle. I've never been in a real fight. I don't think I can fight. And if this guy does fight on the weekends, I'm about to die. This guy's going to kill me right now. And I don't know what to do. I've never thrown a punch. I've never pushed. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And so we're in this crowd and I get up. So only me and him can hear each other, and I go, we don't have, like, we can just walk away right now. And he goes, dude, we can't, it's on. And he steps back, he looks down, he comes forward and he punches me right in the face. I had never been punched in the face before. And it was just like, it was like one of those, triggers that go off in you. That's like, either you do something or this is going to continue
fight
and get
or
worse.
flight kind of thing.
So I get hit, something snaps in my head. I grab him. He's wearing a Batman t-shirt. I whip him into the fence and I'm holding the front of his t-shirt. I ripped it right off of the front of his body. So he goes flying into the fence, gets up and is in half of a Batman shirt. So he has the back of a Batman shirt on and this part is his exposed chest while I'm standing there with a piece of, his shirt.
Yeah.
And so he comes back over to me and I must have grabbed like the shoulder side or whatever. I throw him into the other side over here. He kind of goes down, rolls off. I don't know my strength. Like at this point, I'm not whipping him around, but I'm like, that adrenaline rush comes over you. And I'm like, if I don't do this, he's going to kill me.
Well, you just got punched in the face too.
I also did. That was the big, like,
yeah, I mean, you're defending yourself to a degree.
Yeah.
He threw the first punch. You tried to de-escalate it beforehand.
I did. We should have never been at that catwalk, but nonetheless. So anyway, I have him down and I'm now punching him, but he's kind of not on all fours, but he's down where his face, he has to turn like that. So I'm trying to hit him in the face and he keeps turning. So I'm essentially punching him kind of in the back of the head. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want to punch him in the head. Like I want to punch him in the face just to get him back for me, but I don't want to keep punching.
You want to give him brain damage.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, and I don't want to kill him or some, great. So I kind of lean off for a second. He sort of turns and I'm taking one good swing and I hope I hit him. So I go to swing. He kind of ducks out of the way, sort of turns. I trip over him, then over the sidewalk. I hit the fence. I land in this it's like a little sort of ditch thing that had glass in it.
Oh.
I land. So I'm doing the punch, the follow through on the punch, but I trip. So I literally land right on this arm, like right fully on the elbow, nothing else, glass in there. I get up and I go, I get up and I'm mad because now this hurts and I've been punched in the face and I'm upset. And now I'm like just fuming. So I stand up and I go like that. And as soon as I do that, he looked at my arm and he goes, whoa, 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 whoa. Because this looked like it exploded. That's how, because it was all mangled. So from his view, there's blood dripping down all over. So it looks like my bone may have gone
like
through my skin. Like he has no idea. And it's just covered in blood. And he's like, so we have to like stop the fight. Thank God he did that. But yeah. And so that was, and then I had to go to the hospital, get stitches, all that stuff. And I mean, it wasn't nearly as bad as it looked eventually, but they did have to do the stitches, and I couldn't move it for quite a while.
Well, that whole encounter was still very riveting. Like, I feel like the way you painted a picture there, it was pretty cool. Like ripping his shirt off and all that.
I mean, it was,
you sounded like kind of a badass.
There was, I will say, there was a vote taken that said I won the fight, although it was called as a technicality and I lost based on the fact I could not continue.
Yeah.
But this was not a sanctioned fight. So there was some murmurs around the school the next day that I, in fact, was the dominator of the fight, which he, of course, did not care for and tried to go again, which I absolutely thoroughly refused. And
this is the same dude who had already lost to the other two guys, right?
Same guy, lost to two guys, also lost to another guy later on. And we walked home together that day and became friends. I mean, we were already friends. He's been to a couple shows, actually, this guy too. So like, we have no,
you got to give him points for perseverance though, for getting his ass kicked multiple times and just continuing. He just wanted that win.
He wanted that win. I don't think he ever quite got it.
Well, it sounds like the closest was with you. That technicality was sort of he can try to claim.
Although
that
again, I can't stress this enough. I was voted the winner. I mean, I don't know if I mentioned that before, but if there was a vote taken, it was unofficial, probably led by Greg.
That
fucking Greg. But yeah, that's
the worst injury though.
That's the worst injury, just as overall. Far as like having to go to the hospital, stitches. Like I've never had a broken bone, thank God, and stuff like that. But that was the worst one as far as, and it looked like at first it looked like my arm like my bone exploded through my skin.
That's why I'm thinking you sounded and probably looked like such a badass, because not only was it so gross, but you're the guy who's also still like, let's go, and you're still like Wolverine or something, just want to keep sparring. That's great.
And the look on his face was, and I don't know what he's looking at, right? Because I mean, I can feel it, but you have so much adrenaline that you have no idea. Obviously, I know I've just fallen on my arm, but I'm just thinking I've scraped it. I don't realize that he's looking at, a full explosion of blood all up his arm.
Like a madman now, still wanting to just get in on, get on with the fight.
He thankfully stopped the fight, and I don't know how the bets. Greg was probably taking bets. I don't know how they paid out, but yeah.
There's two disqualifications you've talked about tonight. First the cue cards, and now now the tripping on the glass.
That's right. That's right. Disqualification has been a huge part of my my life, it seems.